My name is Bill Oberdorfer. I'm the Executive Director here at the Avalon, and it is my great pleasure and honor to welcome DC's Mayor Muriel Bowser, her team, and all of you to the Avalon for the Mayor's release of the age-friendly DC 2023 Strategic Plan. Since the very beginning of the Avalon's history as a nonprofit movie theater, it has been a priority of ours to make this theater accessible and welcoming to all. We have added an elevator to our upstairs theater, an accessible restroom in this theater, and made 2 existing restrooms fully accessible in our 15 years as a nonprofit. And of note, the DC government and the DC Commission on the Arts and Humanities have been instrumental in the funding of these improvements, as well as our purchase of the building in 2006. And on the programming side, we added our Senior Cinema Thursday program back in 2009, which provides monthly discounted open caption screenings to our large senior community. And in addition, more recently, we have added 2 regular weekly open caption screenings and upgraded our assisted movie-going devices for the benefit of our hearing and visually impaired patrons. So we are proud that our efforts have resulted in the Avalon having been designated as a DC age-friendly business. Before I introduce Mayor Bowser, I wanted to let all of you know that your attendance at this event qualifies you to attend our next 2 films today at a discounted rate of $5. We'll be showing First Man at 1:15 in our upstairs theater, and there is an elevator, and A Star is Born at 1:45 in this theater. Also, lunch will be available in the lobby at the conclusion of this event, and you've already found out there's, of course, popcorn. So now it is my great honor to introduce Mayor Muriel Bowser. Mayor Bowser has been committed to strengthening DC's age-friendly policies since the initiative started 6 years ago while she was a DC council member. She continued this commitment when she became mayor, such that the World Health Organization and AARP last year recognized the age-friendly DC program for its progressive vision. To hear more about the plans, please join me in welcoming Mayor Muriel Bowser.
Well, good morning, everybody. I am really happy to be here at the beautiful Avalon Theater. Thank you, Bill, for welcoming us and your hospitality. Let's give the Avalon our appreciation for having us here today and seeing First Man and A Star is Born. That is a hard invitation to pass up, and I hope that many people will be able to enjoy those films as well. We are located on Connecticut Avenue, of course, in the beautiful Ward 3 to talk about aging. And I am very proud of the work that we have done together over the last years, focused on how seniors in Washington, D.C. can age well and age in place. And we have had the wonderful leadership of our Director of the Office on Aging, Laura Newland. Thank you, Laura, for your leadership. I understand that we will also be joined by our Ward 4 Council member, Brandon Todd, who's going to join us to say a few words as well. I'm very proud that Council member Todd has carried on a tradition in Ward 4 that we started together, focus on a State of the Ward 4 Senior Address. So every year he gathers the Ward 4 community to talk about all of the issues facing seniors, not only in Ward 4, but across the district, because, of course, the policies that he can advance at the council focus on seniors across the city. I am, thank you, also grateful to Councilmember Anita Bonds, whose committee oversees the Office on Aging, and she, too, has been focused very, very pointedly on the work that we have to do for our seniors. And most recently, she was called on an emergency. Actually, she wasn't called. She just came when we we had our senior neighbors in Ward 6 who suffered a really devastating fire at Arthur Capper. While we're all very concerned about them having lost everything, losing their homes, I'm proud of the work that we're doing together to get them back and into permanent housing just as soon as possible. And I, of course, want to appreciate our host council member for Ward 3, Mary Che, who is also very focused on not just what we have to do for the environment, which I think she's down at council today focusing one of her bills involving the environment, but also what we have to do in communities across the district to make them welcoming for people over the age of 65. It is true, Bill, that we have been focused on age-friendly cities since I was on the council and was able to support the city's efforts to move towards an age-friendly city. And what we're here today is to say, even though we have been designated, don't think our work is done, because the designation really represents the beginning of having a path and a plan that we have agreed upon in a very robust discussion over the last several years on what we need to do to move forward. So I am proud to release today the 2018 through 2023 Strategic Plan Report on the Age-Friendly DC Initiative. This is a forward-looking vision, if I say so myself, with your help, that we've put together that asks all Washingtonians to help us make the district the best city in the world where people can grow older. Because we're all growing older, aren't we? And we know Washington, D.C. is a growing city. Our baby boomers are booming, and we are now 1 out of 10 of us are over the age of 65 in Washington, D.C. Our goal is to be the best city at every age, and we've come a long way over the past 5 years, and we are grateful to the World Health Organization and AARP for the designation that we provided. But you should all know, and I think you do, that this didn't happen by accident. We came together, we were committed to big goals, into making the necessary investments to make those goals happen. You should also know that this is not only the job of the DC Office on Aging, but all 70 of the organizations that report to me, the different agencies, and all 33,000 employees of the District of Columbia government, that they are focused on what they need to do in their agencies to make DC a more age-friendly place. It's because we have had the commitment of the community to make our city work for people of all ages that we are focused, and you'll hear us talking about pre-K, retirement, K through 12, as well as UDC, as well as transportation, employment, and housing opportunities for seniors. We know in world-class cities we have a lot of different things to do all at once. So in fact, the Avalon Theater is one such example of when we talk about economic development, we talk about recreation, we talk about aging in place. We look to our private sector partners to help us do that. I have been touched by a number of seniors who talk to me about what it's like to go to the movies and make sure that their needs can be met at the movies. I sometimes have this own experience when thinking about how I can get my parents to the movies. I go through my head, which movie theater can I go to where I can park the closest? My father has mobility challenges. The shortest distance to the elevator and the shortest distance from the elevator to the theater. These are things that we all have to think about as we adapt to our changed needs. So I want to thank the Avalon for your leadership in this regard and invite many, many other seniors to talk to the places that you patronize and let them know about your needs. And we, of course, are going to talk to businesses throughout the city. So we have been pleased that we have had a number of businesses step up to the plate and want the acknowledgement, and we encourage many more to follow their leads. This city is growing by leaps and bounds. I don't have to tell you. Many of you have lived in Washington, D.C. when we are over 800,000 people, didn't you? We saw a flight out of our city, and now we see that resurgence again. More than 900 people move to D.C. every month. That's a big influx of people. In February, we celebrated together the birth of the 700,000 Washingtonian a little bit earlier this year. And we know certainly in the next 20 years, we'll be over 800,000 people again. So the challenges on housing and transportation are real. The challenges about making housing and taxes affordable, including home repair programs and utility programs, is real. That's why in the last 4 years we have supported a very needed and, it turns out, popular program called Safe at Home, where the D.C. government provides small but meaningful grants to you so that you can make necessary repairs to your home so your home is safe for you and you're able to age in place. We've also, in the last budget, supported a tax relief program that is aimed at helping you better afford your property taxes. You know, we have a 10% cap on property taxes from year to year, and what we passed with the last budget was for seniors. That cap would not be 10%, but it would be 5% from year to year. And I think that there's more that we can do in that regard. Councilmember Todd was talking to me about another piece of legislation that he is moving through the council that would, and here he comes as I mention it, that would increase the amount of the value of your home that would be exempt because of the homestead status. So I'm looking forward to working with the council to get that done. Councilmember Anita Bonds actually a couple of years ago moved a piece of legislation that would exempt seniors over the age of 65 from property taxes at all. Now that one didn't make it all the way through the council. So we're going to talk to our council members about that one because there are many things that we can do to help make the city more affordable. I mentioned utilities earlier. Part of our climate agenda is making solar available for more people, people of all incomes and across all 8 wards of the city. So I would encourage you, if you have the opportunity, to look into solar for all because we know if we can take down the cost, the regular expected cost of heating and cooling our homes and lighting our homes, we can also make our city more affordable for longer. We are also very grateful to the lead agencies who serve our seniors in the district. I think you know how we are organized, that the Office on Aging works with trusted and effective partners to deliver senior services across the city. And our lead agency for Ward 3 is Iona Senior Services, who's represented here. And let's give them a big round of applause. So those are a few of the things that have been in the works for the last 4 years. And this plan represents our roadmap for the next 5 years. So let us commit to doing even more, to making sure that our city is a place where people can age and grow older, where when people from around the country and around the region say, I want to think about where I want to retire, they say Washington, D.C. And let us also, and because this is one challenge I have to my staff and my team, I love lunch programs. I love them. But that's not all seniors want to do, right? Is have lunch. Seniors want to be engaged in the civic life of our city. They want to explore places in DC and beyond. And they want to pass on vast knowledge and decades of experience to the generations that follow. And so I really want to make sure that you're challenging us to serve you better. Thank you very much. So now I think I have the pleasure of recognizing our council member from Ward 4. Now, we're of course in Ward 3, but we're very close to Ward 4. And Council Member Todd has been focused policy-wise and service-wise on how we can best serve our D.C. residents. And I know that he has been very interested because he has worked with the Office on Aging as part of the Business Ambassador Program and promoting business participation with us. So please join me in welcoming Councilmember Brandon Todd.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you to Mayor Bowser for holding this event this morning. I want to acknowledge Director Laura Newland, and I know our Deputy Mayor, and I also saw Dr. Samuel McCoy, who is the chairperson of the Ward 4 Senior Advisory Committee. Let's give them all a big round of applause. And I'm really delighted to be here this morning to congratulate the outgoing age-friendly DC task force on the past 5 years and all of the work that you've done, as well as on your progress report from 2012 to 2017. We know that that report was recognized by the World Health Organization and AARP on all of its accomplishments and recommendations. And as we as a city look towards the next 5 years, I'm very excited about the plan that's being presented today by our mayor and her team. Let's give Mayor Bowser and her team another big round of applause. And I want to commend the mayor and the age-friendly task force's work on their interagency approach, which takes a holistic approach to planning for seniors in the future in the world capital. And I'm very proud to serve as the age-friendly task force DC's business ambassador. And I'm very proud. Let's give that a big round of applause. And I'm very proud that citywide we have 80 businesses on board, which is up from 45 last year, and that deserves a big round of applause. And the Avalon Theater is one of those businesses. And so as you get around the city and patronize businesses, please encourage them to become an age-friendly business. Please send them my way, and I want to stop by and visit with them because it's so important that where you shop and where you spend your money, that they have the ability to serve you to the absolute best of their ability. So congratulations, everybody, and let's keep pushing to be the most age-friendly city in the District of Columbia. And I believe Director Laura Newland is up next.
Thank you so much, Councilmember. Good afternoon. It's so good to see everyone here today. I want to start by acknowledging the incredible work of Gail Cohn, and I don't know where she is, but there she is. She's our age-friendly DC coordinator, and she has put so much time and effort into this initiative, as many of you know, working behind the scenes, not just for moments like today where we celebrate our progress, but making sure we are making progress. So thank you very much, Gail, for that. Of course, none of this would be possible without the leadership of our mayor, who has been focused on this initiative since her days on council. I've told this story before, but I'm going to tell it again. In my first meeting with the mayor, she looked at me and asked me, Laura, what are we going to do about isolated seniors? She told me about her time as a Ward 4 council member when she would go knocking on doors and she would come across older district residents who lived alone, weren't connected to programs, and didn't know about the resources that were available in their community. Her persistent question remains, what are we going to do about isolated seniors? Not what are you going to do about it? Not what should I do about it? But what are we going to do about it? And that's really what being an age-friendly city is all about. that everyone at all levels of government and everyone in the community is responsible for making sure that all residents can live and age well. Last fall, we were officially designated as an age-friendly city. And as promised by the mayor then, that was only the beginning. It's not enough to rest on our accomplishments. If you know our mayor, you know her next question to us was, so what's next? Mayor Bowser understands that age-friendly is more than just a checklist, that it's about making sure that everything that we do as a government and as a community, and making sure that we are a city together that is truly for all people, whether you've been here for 5 minutes or for 5 generations. Part of the next 5 years is doing what every city should do and doing it well, like making sure DC is a walkable city, that making sure district residents have access to healthy foods. And part of the next 5 years is making the extraordinary ordinary, like we did with Safe at Home. Because being an age-friendly isn't just a goal for our city. Age-friendly is about our values. No matter how old you are, no matter your income, your abilities, Washington, D.C. is a place for you. Not just today, next week, next year, 20, 30, 50 years from now. It is that recognition that drives us in the next stage of our age-friendly plan. Thank you for sharing these values with us and joining us in this important work. It's now my pleasure to introduce Wes Morrison, who is the age-friendly volunteer and an activist in our community, specifically around LGBTQ issues. But if you know Wes, you've seen him everywhere, all across the city, at all sorts of meetings, for all sorts of people. He cares about making sure DC really is truly the best place to live. He is a model of civic engagement and an example of what kind of engagement it really takes for all of us to work together in making DC the best place in the world to age. So Wes, it's my pleasure.
As she says, I'm Wes Morrison, and Mayor Bowser, Director Newland, Director Newland, Age Friendly Cities Coordinator Gail Cohn, Age Force task members and Age Force committee members and Age Friendly businesses. All are represented here today. I'm honored to be asked as a volunteer to speak. I've been a volunteer with Age Friendly Cities from its beginning as a scribe for the task force meetings and working with Gail in any way I could help further the initiative. It is very important that businesses be a part of the Age Friendly Cities initiative, for you provide the goods and services to the community as a whole. But today we will focus on the 50-plus patrons and clients. As you know, we are the largest demographic group of seniors, and how we perceive your customer service is important. Businesses that are represented here today, and some of you have signs with your business name on it, just raise your signs or just raise your hand if you're representing a business today. We applaud you. Businesses that are represented have been nominated by your customers as being respectful and accommodating to the needs of seniors, whether it is wide entrances and exits for wheelchair and walker rollers, automated doors to open, large print menus or documents, low noise level, or good lighting. Someone 50 plus has noticed your business, and we as seniors applaud you for that. Isolation is a big problem for the 50-plus segment of the population. It can happen slowly over a period of time, or it can be rather sudden. In my case, it was sudden. I was laid off after 32 years at a local television station in 2009, and I had planned to work up until this year, which is my 71st birthday. I was not only cut out of 9 years more of Social Security retirement funds, but also the daily interaction with coworkers and the peripheral people, the people like the metro station manager that I would say hello to going to work in the morning, the cleaning people who I would help with their English, the 7-Eleven guy I would stop to get my 2 honey buns a day fix, and the giant near where I work to pick up things for dinner. So you see how important your businesses are in the day-to-day life of seniors. There is always an opportunity for social interaction. Another factor in isolation for the 60 to 70 plus is family and friends passing away. And for some of us in the LGBTQ community, due to the AIDS epidemic, we have lost entire circles of friends that we would have grown old with. So how your business treats all of its seniors as customers with respect and courtesy is a reflection on the livability of the District of Columbia. So businesses like restaurants, yoga studios, movie theaters, travel agents, and coffee houses are very important in combating isolation and promoting social interaction for seniors. How your staff engages with seniors directly reflects on the city as a whole and being a place to age in place. Other businesses such as banks and realtors, insurance brokers, care facilities must also be a part and be respectful and watchful for their senior plus customers. Employees are the first to encounter problems and issues with customers. How they resolve them is a reflection on your business. We are just beginning to train bank tellers, realtors, brokers to look for signs of dementia in customers so that they cannot be scammed out of their life savings. We're also looking to emergency rooms, doctors, and police to look for signs of elder abuse. So again, we appreciate your businesses as part of the age-friendly business and hope that you will encourage others to participate. And if you need help in how to make your business more friendly to seniors, you can talk to the Age-Friendly DC office. Thank you.
Please give Mr. Morrison a great hand. Wasn't that an excellent speech? Thank you. And that was heartfelt, and it just put a fine point on what we're doing here today and how we're going to work over the next 5 years focused on our roadmap. I hope that you will join us for lunch, and me and director and many of our team are going to be here to say hi and to answer some of your questions in the lobby. Thank you, everybody.